Jin-suk was a 20-year-old student in the year 1997, living with his parents and older brother in their new house. Jin-suk knew something was wrong the moment his brother came back home after being kidnapped for 19 days. The smiles felt fake, and every conversation felt rehearsed. Every night, he heard terrifying sounds coming from the locked room upstairs in their new home, which they had recently moved into. He tried to call his family's attention to the continuous scratching sound coming from the locked room, but nobody believed him. Every time he mentioned it, they all treated him like he was losing his mind. One night, when he couldn't take it anymore, he secretly followed his brother, and what he saw completely shattered his reality. The man who claimed to be his family was meeting with strangers in secret, speaking like a completely different person and plotting what he doesn't understand. That's when Jin-suk realized something was totally off. The man living in his house might not be his real brother at all. If so, what happened to his real brother? Terrified and driven by paranoia, he finally escapes his family's suffocating surveillance and runs to a police station to report that his family is imposters. As he frantically explains his story, the officers stare at him in confusion. He tries to write down his statement, but his hand betrays him. It's wrinkled and aged. The police explain to him, and according to them, it isn't 1997, but the year 2017. 20 years had disappeared from his life, and he had no memory of any of it. At first, he refuses to believe them, but then he notices smartphones, giant LED screens, modern cars everywhere. His hands begin to shake as reality finally hits him. He catches his reflection in a mirror. He doesn't see a young student. He sees a weathered, 41-year-old man. Where is the 20-year-old student he believes himself to be? The reality he knew vanishes in an instant. It is not 1997, but the present day. His entire life is a meticulously orchestrated theatrical set. Everything he remembered was a lie. When Jin-suk returns home, he finally opens the forbidden room upstairs and freezes in horror. Bloodstains cover the walls, crime scene markings surround the floor, and standing behind him was the man pretending to be his brother, Yoo-suk, who is a private investigator, a man seeking confession for a crime Jin-suk has suppressed for over 20 years. The locked room in the house wasn't hiding a monster. It was a hypnotic 1997 setup designed to force Jin-suk's subconscious to re-experience the night of the crime and trigger lost memories of a double murder. In desperation to crack Jin-suk's amnesia, Yoo-suk drives him out into the night. The psychological pressure reaches a fever pitch as a sudden violent car crash shatters their vehicle. Jin-suk crawls from the wreckage and collapses. The physical trauma fractures the mental walls he built over 2 decades, and his real memories of December 1997 come flooding back in a violent wave. The narrative dives into the true 1997, showing the desperate Jin-suk during the IMF financial crisis. We see the real IMF financial crisis that ruined his family, the horrific car crash that claimed the lives of his parents while moving to a new home and left Jin-suk's older brother brain dead, requiring an expensive surgery. Desperate for money to save his brother, an anonymous user on an early internet chat room offers Jin-suk a dark deal: murder a woman in a specific house, leave her children unharmed, and collect the cash. The story takes us into the pitch-black heart of that fateful night in 1997. Jin-suk enters the dark house, carrying a knife. He intends to back out, but a sudden noise panics him, leading to a frantic, accidental slaughter of the mother and her teenage daughter. Only a young boy survives because Jin-suk tells him to cover his eyes and count to 100. Shaken to his very soul and regrettable action, Jin-suk meets his anonymous employer on the roof of the hospital to demand answers. To his absolute surprise, the man who hired him to kill the woman is the woman's own husband and a prominent doctor attending to his brother, who wanted his wife's insurance payout to survive the financial crisis. When the doctor tries to kill Jin-suk to cover his tracks, a struggle ensues, and the doctor accidentally falls off the roof to his death. Back in the present day, Jin-suk wakes up in a hospital bed. Yusuk is sitting beside him, holding a syringe filled with a lethal dose of poison. The final, heartbreaking loop of the tragedy is completed. Yusuk reveals his true identity. He was the little boy who survived the horrific night. The doctor who orchestrated the hit was his father, and the victims were his mother and sister. Overnight, his entire family was destroyed, leaving him as an orphan who grew up with the determination of finding his family's killer. He tells Jin-Sok that he spent his life looking for closure, needing to know why his family had to die. He demands to know if his father truly ordered the hit, or if Jin-Sok is just lying to save his own skin. Jin-Sok, crushed under the overwhelming weight of guilt, realized the horrific irony that his attempt to save his own brother destroyed an entire family. To protect the young man's remaining memory of his father, Jin-Sok claims he acted completely alone and that the doctor had nothing to do with it. Devastated with how his life is still entirely hollowed out by grief, Yusuk steps backward out of the open hospital window, falling to his death. Moments later, unable to live with the monster he became and the lives he ruined, Jin-Sok plunged the lethal syringe into his own foreline. The film ends on a heartbreaking flashback to 1997, a chance encounter at a park where a young, innocent Jin-Sok briefly met a happy young Yusuk and his family, long before the darkness swallowed them both.